Welcome back to the channel, guys! Hope you had a great vacation! Today we talk about something that doesn't get much attention but will surely be of interest to most of you. So let's talk a little history and let's get started. Once upon a time there was Unreal Engine, an incredible, fabulous engine with a history that is little known. No. We're not going to start like that. We're here to discuss the origin of Unreal, its history, and we also uncovered some little-known anecdotes that you probably didn't expect. The story of Epic Games began in 1991 under the name Epic Mega Games, before being renamed Epic Games 8 years later. In 1995, in a small office in Cary, North Carolina, Tim Sweeney started developing the first versions of Unreal Engine. Defying the industry norms of the time, Sweeney laid the foundation for what will later become a revolution in the world of game engines.
Unreal Engine 1, genius! Unreal Engine 2, even better, and then Unreal Engine 3.
It seems he was particularly intent on competing with one of the market leaders of the time, ID Software, which was dominating with its innovative Quake game engine designed by John Carmack. Next, we got a great discovery, one I honestly didn't expect. I had often heard of the game ZZT, so I decided to take a look, and it turns out it was Epic Games' first notable game and it is still available on the Epic Games Store. That's really incredible. ZZT was a 2D adventure game with a simple programming interface, allowing players to create their own levels and scenarios. This game captured the attention of the gaming community and marked the beginning of Epic Games' rise. Tim Sweeney developed Unreal Engine 1 almost entirely on his own. Sweeney not only wanted to match Quake, but to surpass it. To achieve this, he incorporated features like dynamic colored lighting, which allowed for more realistic and immersive lighting effects, unlike the static or limited color lighting used in other engines of the time. He also integrated more advanced technical features like texture filtering methods such as mix mapping and anisotropic filtering to improve texture quality at a distance. In short, he had it all figured out. This technology allowed for the creation of visually dynamic environments with lighting effects that added depth and atmosphere to the games developed using the engine. Epic Games quickly recognized the commercial potential of their engine and began licensing Unreal Engine 1 to other studios. The first game not developed by Epic Games to use this engine was Deus Ex, a title that soon became a global success. This licensing model not only popularized Unreal Engine but also established a new revenue stream for Epic Games, paving the way for a new era of collaboration within the gaming industry. Unlike other shooters of the time, Unreal didn't limit itself to narrow corridors and confined spaces. It offered vast outdoor landscapes, a true technical feat at the time. These environments presented challenges in terms of performance and rendering, but Sweeney and his team managed to optimize the engine to deliver an impressive visual experience without sacrificing gameplay. This was one of the features that truly set Unreal apart from its competitors. In addition to the engine's incredible graphics, Unreal Engine 1 introduced 3D positional sound. This innovation allowed players to perceive the origin of sounds within the game space, adding an extra layer of immersion. For example, players could hear footsteps approaching from behind or the distant roar of a river, making the gaming experience even more engaging and realistic. And Epic Games quickly realized the importance of an active community and decided to make Unreal Engine accessible to modders. This allowed a vibrant community to develop around the game, creating mods that extended the life of Unreal and even influenced future versions of the engine. Many modders saw their creations praised by the community, with some even joining Epic's teams or the gaming industry as professionals. Unreal Engine 2 saw widespread use in the early 2000s and solidified Epic Games' reputation as a leader in game engine development. It was designed to be more flexible and powerful than its predecessor, with a focus on improving physics, graphics, and sound management. The engine introduced technologies like camera physics, a physics engine that allowed for more realistic interactions between objects and characters. And we'll dive into that shortly. Unreal Engine 2 also enabled many studios to create high-quality games in terms of graphics and gameplay without having to develop their own in-house technology. UE2 was optimized to run on multiple platforms, including the consoles of that era, such as the PlayStation 2, Xbox, and GameCube, in addition to PCs. This cross-platform compatibility significantly increased its adoption within the gaming industry. While Epic Games used Unreal Engine 2 for titles like Unreal Tournament 2003, many other studios adopted this engine for their own games. For example, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six 3 and America's Army are among the most well-known games developed using Unreal Engine 2. One of the most surprising projects to use Unreal Engine 2 was America's Army, a recruitment game developed by the US Army. This free first-person shooter was designed to give players a realistic glimpse into military life and eventually became an effective recruitment tool by showcasing the positive aspects of military life. The game offered a realistic simulation of military training and operations, allowing players to virtually experience future missions. UE2 introduced more advanced special effects such as particles, shaders, and volumetric lighting, which allowed for the creation of more realistic and immersive environments. By the way, have you heard of Karma Physics? I have a little anecdote for you. It was something of an accident. The Karma Physics engine, included in Unreal Engine 2, was initially integrated to enhance object interactions in games. However, it was quickly adopted by developers for creative uses such as the creation of stunts and destruction scenes. As with Unreal Engine 1, Epic Games encouraged the modding community to engage with the engine. The game Red Orchestra, a mod for Unreal Tournament 2003, is an excellent example of what the community could achieve. This mod became so popular that it was eventually developed into a standalone game, proving the impact and longevity of the modding scene powered by Unreal Engine. The transition to Unreal Engine 3 was on the horizon, and UE2 laid the groundwork for innovation that will be fully realized in the new version. The lessons learned from cross-platform optimization and the integration of advanced special effects directly influenced the development of the third generation of the engine. Now, 4 years later, launched in 2006, Unreal Engine 3 marked a revolution in the video game industry by establishing new standards in graphics and gameplay. For example, the engine decided to introduce shaders, high-resolution textures, and even more realistic material rendering compared to version 2, particularly with the addition of normal mapping and specular mapping to give textures relief and depth. UE3 was developed with the next-gen console era in mind, specifically the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. It allowed developers to create games that fully leverage the hardware capabilities of these new consoles. And there are 3 games created with version 3 that you probably know. One of the first and most famous games using Unreal Engine 3 is Gears of War, developed by Epic Games itself. The game was praised for its stunning graphics and innovative gameplay and played a major role in popularizing the engine. Fun fact, Epic used Gears as a showcase to test the capabilities and limits of Unreal Engine 3. Tools and features such as Unreal Editor, the physics and animation system, networking, and multiplayer were added or optimized specifically to meet the game's needs, which then benefited all other developers using the engine. And this is one of my favorite franchises, and I can't wait to test another time Marcus with its famous Lancer on Locusts. Really excited for Gears 6. Mass Effect by BioWare is another iconic title using UE3. The game utilized the engine to create vast and detailed environments as well as highly realistic character animations. And last but not least, developed by Irrational Games, BioShock used Unreal Engine 3 to create its unique dystopian underwater world, combining immersive graphics with deep storytelling. At its peak, Unreal Engine 3 was used across a wide variety of game genres, from first-person shooters to RPGs to sports games. By 2011, it was estimated that around 50% of the games on the Xbox 360 and PS3 used UE3, illustrating its immense popularity. Although initially designed for video games, Unreal Engine 3 was also used in film and television production to pre-visualize scenes, creating real-time animated sequences before actual filming. For instance, James Cameron's Avatar used a modified version of UE3 to pre-visualize scenes in its virtual world. Does Cascade ring a bell? Way before Niagara, UE3 introduced Cascade, an advanced particle system enabling dynamic special effects like smoke, fire, and other environmental phenomena. UE3 introduced Kismet, a visual scripting system that allowed game designers to create complex interactions without needing to code. Kismet was the precursor to Blueprints, which we all know well in version 4. We'll discuss that later. While the Xbox 360 was easier to develop with UE3, the PlayStation 3 posed challenges to its architecture. Many studios struggled to optimize their games on this platform, sometimes leading to quality differences between Xbox 360 and PS3 versions of the same games. In 2009, Epic Games was sued by Silicon Knights, a studio using Unreal Engine 3 to develop 2 Human. Silicon Knights accused Epic of not providing a functional engine, which they claimed hurt the game's development. The court ultimately ruled in favor of Epic Games, and Silicon Knights was required to destroy all copies of 2 Human using Unreal Engine 3. In short, the massive adoption of UE3 by the gaming industry made it one of the most influential game engines of all time. It not only powered many successful games, but also helped establish new standards for graphics and gameplay. Unreal Engine 3 truly defined its era and left an indelible mark on the video game industry. It not only enabled the creation of some of the most memorable games for the HD generation, but also opened new possibilities for developers worldwide. We're getting closer! Now let's talk a bit about the technical innovation of UE4. In 2003, Epic had around 150 to 200 employees. Nearly 10 years later, for the development of Unreal Engine 4, the company's workforce had doubled because, as you know, they were preparing some great surprises for us. Unreal Engine 4 introduced technologies such as dynamic global illumination, a new physics-based rendering pipeline called PBR, and more accessible content creation tools like Blueprints. Indeed, one of the most revolutionary changes in UE4 was the introduction of Blueprints, our well-known visual scripting system that allowed developers to create game behaviors without needing to code. This opened the door for a wide range of creators, from many artists to designers, to participate in game dev without necessarily having programming skills. In 2015, Epic Games made a major announcement by making Unreal Engine 4 free for all users, with a 5% royalty on revenues generated from commercial products created with the engine. This business model was designed to make the engine accessible to a broader audience, including small indie studios and individual developers. This strategic decision led to massive adoption of UE4. Many indie games as well as AAA titles were developed with Unreal Engine 4. The engine's flexibility also led to its use in other industries such as film, architecture, and virtual reality. Before the official launch of UE4, Epic Games showcased a technical demo called Infiltrator at the Game Dev Conference in 2013. This demo was designed to demonstrate UE4's graphical capabilities with dynamic lighting, complex particle effects, and impressive real-time rendering. The demo amazed the industry and raised expectations of what the engine could achieve. Oh, our famous Fortnite! Did you think I've forgotten about it? This game is undoubtedly the most famous title created with UE4. While the game was initially designed as a cooperative survival game, Save the World, its Battle Royale version quickly exploded in popularity. Fortnite's success also highlighted UE4's capabilities in terms of continuous updates, server management, and flexibility for integrating new content. Another demo called Kite blew everyone away. This demo, depicting a boy flying a kite through a lush landscape, was rendered in real time on a single GTX Titan graphics card, showcasing the engine's optimization capabilities for vast and detailed environments. Unreal Engine 4 also made its way into the world of cinema, with productions using the engine for real-time reviewing, creating virtual sets, or shooting various scenes. Series like The Mandalorian used UE4 to create scenes set in desert environments, representing the planet Tatooine and other arid landscapes. The sets for these scenes were created using giant LED screens installed on the sets, with UE4 providing the virtual backgrounds projected onto these screens. Epic, as you know, also invested in its community by organizing contests, development jams, and offering grants to encourage innovation. Additionally, the company launched Unreal Dev Grants in February 2015 and a non-conditional funding program that distributed millions of dollars to support creators using Unreal Engine. At the same time, Epic Games established partnerships with educational institutions, providing free resources and training to teach Unreal Engine to students. By combining these initiatives with events like the Epic Mega Jams and Fortnite Creative Contests, Epic Games not only fostered an active and engaged community but also stimulated creativity and innovation in the video game industry. And UE4 also led the groundwork for what would become Unreal Engine 5. Unreal Engine 5 was officially announced by Epic Games on May 5, 2021. Thanks to its demo, titled Lumen in the Land of Nanites, presented in May 2020 on the PlayStation 5, it astonished the industry by showcasing incredible detailed environments rendered in real time. The two main technologies highlighted were Nanites and Lumen. A little boost for Sony, of course, to highlight the PS5's ability to handle ultra-detailed environments in real time, underscoring UE5's potential to leverage new hardware technologies. Epic Games made Unreal Engine 5 available in early access in May 2021, allowing developers to start exploring new features and provide feedback before the full release nearly a year later. In April 2022, it was officially launched, offering a suite of tools and documentation, making the engine accessible to everyone, from small indie studios to large AAA development companies. With UE5, Epic Games integrated Quixel Megascans directly into the engine, providing developers with access to a vast library of high-quality photogrammetry scan assets. This integration allowed developers to create photorealistic environments with great efficiency. Quixel Megascans, acquired by Epic Games in 2019, has been a key element in demonstrating the potential of Nanite. Another innovation we're using today is World Partition. Unreal introduced a new way to handle open worlds with World Partition, a system that automatically divides the game world into a grid and dynamically loads cells based on the player's position. This allows for the creation of open worlds without the traditional limitation associated with memory management. Unreal made a huge leap by introducing MetaHumans, a tool that allows for the creation of realistic human characters with incredible detail, significantly reducing the time required for their creation. Several studios started working on AAA games using UE5 such as Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga by Ninja Theory and the upcoming game in the Witcher series by CD Projekt Red. These games promise to fully leverage UE5's capability to deliver incredible games experience. I can't wait to see them, and don't forget to test Black Myth Wukong, another great example for UE5's capabilities. Finally, Unreal Engine 5 has not only solidified Epic Games' position as a leader in games engines, but has become the giant in 3D creation over the span of 30 years. To summarize, Epic Games today employs around 3,000 people across more than 40 offices worldwide and is valued at approximately 31.5 billion USD. Its Epic Games Store, offering over 600 games and boasting more than 200 million registered users, continues to influence the industry. The success of Fortnite, with its more than 250 million players, illustrates the popularity of Unreal Engine. Kudos! So what's next? Version 6? If you want some insight into upcoming forecasts, we made a little video here. Feel free to check it out and we'll discuss it again shortly because I feel it's coming really soon. I won't spoil anymore. Ciao!